Okay, we'll get started. Welcome everybody to City Council today, November 2nd, 2021, Election Day. We'll get started, and the mayor, you can see the mayor and Councilman Argyle and Councilman Gordon are amongst the millions watching tonight from wherever around the world they are. So you're stuck with the, I call it the B team, but we're not the B team. We're probably the A team.
We're definitely the A team.
Yep. Thanks everybody for being here, and thanks at home for everybody watching. We'll start with a motivational thought and prayer by Tyler Jacobson, our Assistant City Manager.
Hey, thanks, Mayor Pro Tem Mendenhall. Just to start with the a little spiritual thought, I thought in light of the election that's being held and that's been happening by mail the last little while, just to give a little thank you to all the candidates. I think Theodore Roosevelt expressed maybe what some of the candidates have felt. He said, "Far better it is to dare mighty things, to win glorious triumphs, even though checkered by failure, than to rank with those poor spirits who neither enjoy much nor suffer much, because they live in the gray twilight that knows neither victory nor defeat." So today, it'll be great for some. It may be hard for others, but the great thing is, and I think Tara, our city recorder, expressed this well when we had an introductory meeting for all the candidates, and that is that it's a great, I think a great tribute of the volunteer spirit of those that live here in Spanish Fork, as far as the number of candidates that ran, and just really appreciate the courage it takes to run, and those that have run and sacrificed their time and talents to try to make the city better. So with that, I'll offer a prayer. Our dear kind Father in heaven, we're very grateful to be gathered today as a city, very grateful unto thee to be able to live in a community where people care. We ask thee to please bless that thou will guide and direct the elected officials tonight as they make decisions. We're grateful for the time of preparation that they put in to preparing for this, and pray thou will please be with their families as they are away, and we pray thou please bless that thou will help us to be able to do our best to continue to make Spanish Fork such a wonderful place. And we pray for these things in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Thank you, Tyler. I'll call on Nick Porter to lead us in the pledge tonight.
Please stand and repeat the pledge with me.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you.
Thank you, Nick. All right, we got some cool guests in the council chambers today, and Nick's going to introduce them. But on the agenda, it's called Spanish Fork 101. Most of our residents probably know a little bit about it now, but we're excited you guys are here tonight to be recognized. And take it away, Nick.
Thank you. So for the last 10 weeks, we've had 15 different residents come to various locations throughout the city to learn about who we are and what we do in each of our divisions and departments. And I wanted to recognize them for a job well done and for graduating with us, as well as a huge shout out to each of our department heads, division managers, and those who helped put on these events each week. This class had a chance to splice fiber and to work as a camera crew on SF-17. They got to shoot guns at the gun club, ride horses at the fairgrounds, participate in traffic stops, and use the jaws of life, among a lot of other things like frying a hot dog with a high voltage shock, looking at at the airport and various facilities, tour the wastewater treatment plant, and I'm sure I've missed quite a bit because we packed in a lot in 10 weeks. So I wanted to invite them up. Come on up for the camera. And we had a graduation ceremony Wednesday where they got to shake hands with the council, and we presented them with a couple gifts. Tonight I just have a class photo for each of them. And then I'll let Brett Bills share a couple thoughts that he's had on the last 10 weeks. Brett?
So when we got invited to do this class, or it was made available, I honestly thought it was a chance for the city to like indoctrinate all of us and be like, this is the way we do things and you're going to love it. It ended up being so much more than that. Nick, the program he put together is amazing. All the employees of the city departments that put it on, it was, I can't describe. I mean, when I got the itinerary, I was like, we hit the jackpot. Like, this is like field trip heaven. Like 12-year-old Brett was jumping for joy. Like, we're going to go see the airport, Jaws of Life, all that stuff. But what really stood out throughout all of it was the passion involved in our city employees. I mean, they all really want to do a great job. We were presented an opportunity to talk with the heads of all the departments. It was unscripted. And we were able to ask them questions and see the concerns that they have and the hurdles that they have in doing their jobs, and to see the good work that they're doing to work for us. Super impressive. Honestly, I think we were asked what we'd pay for this. I'm the guy who pays for nothing. Like, I'm the cheapest guy you met. I would pay full tuition, school tuition for this course. I mean, $500, $1,000 for this course would not be enough for the kind of things that we were exposed to and the things that we learned. So hats off to the city, putting the program together. Couldn't be happier with the experience. Thank you.
Thanks, Brett.
Brett?
Thanks, guys.
Dave, where's the jacket? I don't recognize you without the,
It was a little warmer today.
who is this guy?
You dressed up for tonight, didn't you?
I did.
Thank you, guys. Very cool, and it sounds like from the response and the results that it's going to be a thing that we continue in Spanish Fork and have other graduating classes, so very cool. Okay, that takes us to item number 4, public comments. Anybody from the public that is here to speak to the city council tonight? Yeah, come on up. Tell us who you are so we can get it on the record, and then
My name's Alvin Odermatt, and I live just off Canyon up where the piles of dirt are. And it looks like maybe by summer coming we'll have some houses. But the reason I came tonight, I've been trying to come for over a year, but I do some works in the evening that kind of prohibited that. I do know a couple people that are here from the chamber when I was there, but I'm not speaking to you as a council. What I'm doing is I'm speaking to the public. I'm speaking to the citizens of Spanish Fork, Utah County, and maybe in a small way to the state of Utah. Anybody that lives in Spanish Fork that came from California sometime in the last 10, 15 years, I've been here for 17 and a half, and it's a great place to retire. But we got our tax bill, and in California, they had a thing called the Jarvis Amendment, Proposition 13. Anybody that's lived in Utah their life doesn't have a clue what that is. So I hope tonight in the 5 minutes, I have my cliff notes to keep me at 5 minutes, we'll hopefully have an understanding of what that can do. Our tax bill that we had in California when we bought our home wasn't too bad. We were paying taxes, went up to close to $900. And the problem was taxes and the property values were increasing as they are here. And because the values were going up, so were the taxes. And there were people that had been retired on fixed incomes losing their homes. And it got to be a very big problem. So Representative Jarvis started a petition, and the petition had way more than enough to qualify for the ballot. It was on the ballot as Proposition 13. And basically what that did is it limited the amount of property tax that a homeowner could pay to 1% of what they paid for the home. Our property taxes dropped from just under $900 to just under $400, which was quite a savings. But when we moved to Utah, I found an idiot willing to pay me an obscene amount of money for my house. So I took it, and I left California. My wife and I were both born in Utah. I was born in Ogden. My wife grew up in Salt Lake, and we have relatives here. So we were coming home. But the property tax that I paid went from just under 400. There was a loophole in Proposition 13, and the powers to be in governments found that loophole, and the taxes went to a little over $800. But that was still quite a savings on what it was. Now, here in Utah, we pride ourselves in having a great community. We like to have affordable housing, but affordable housing is going to be a thing of the past, primarily because property values are going through the roof. Everybody knows that. We paid what I thought was a fair price for our house, and our tax bill is now more than double what it was when we bought that house. And people say, well, your value of the house is a lot more. Well, yes, it is. I was quite surprised when my brother-in-law that had been in real estate has a little program on his phone, and he pulled it up. This was just this last summer that we were visiting him in St. George. And he did some calculations on the square footage, how old was the house, and all the stuff that realtors do. And he says, well, your house is over $400,000. And I says, wow, that's way too much. But we're taxed on that. That's why our tax bill is more than double. But the house is not worth that. The house is really not even worth what we paid for it until you sell the house. That's the only time you make a profit, is when you sell your house. You don't make any money on your house while you're living in it. As we all know, houses cost money to maintain. Everybody should pay a fair tax. But what is a fair tax? In California, Proposition 13 said it's 1% of what you paid for the house. Now, that sounds fair, but cities probably would not be able to function if that were to happen. If everybody in Spanish Fork paid 1% sales or property tax on what they paid for the house, the income to the city would be drastically reduced. So my cautionary tale is this. You as a city council, Spanish Fork government people, they cannot really control what the county does, but the taxpayers can. I would hate to see the taxpayers do what they did in California and come in and get a petition, and all of a sudden, your revenue was cut by a lot. And that could happen. Look at what happened when we were going to build a library over by the community park, the recreation park. Great library, great plans, good recreation center, good senior center, good library. But the city residents decided that they did not want to spend the taxes to do that. If the city residents find out in all the cities of Utah what they could do to stop the rise of taxes, it would be terrible for what happens to the income to the cities. So please do what you can to control the spending. We are a growing city, and our city is a great city. That's why we live here. That's why we all live here. If we can control the spending and stop the rise of taxes, I'd hate to be here another 10 years and pay 3 times what we started originally on our property tax, because the house isn't worth that much until I sell it. You have senior citizens that will be losing their homes in the next 5 to 10 years because they're on fixed incomes, and that fixed income cannot afford to pay the property taxes that they're going to have to pay. Does anybody have any questions?
I don't.
Okay, thank you for your time.
Thanks, Al. Appreciate you coming up. Thank you.
I didn't have the microphone to address what he said, but I think it's some great thoughts that he shared, and maybe just in response, there are some things that we do have here called, first of all, it's called truth in taxation, which requires that as property values go up, our rates go down. So there is a little bit of a balance to what what he was explaining that could happen. So in a meteoric rise of home values like we are seeing right now, we're seeing a drop in our percentage of our property tax rate. So if this year our property tax is going to generate $3.5 million, no matter what the values go up to, our property tax will generate $3.5 million next year with the addition of growth, which growth isn't the change in property value, but it is, if this farm field was an alfalfa field yesterday and now it has 20 homes, there is a change in that use, and so that is called growth, and that's what we would receive the additional income on. One thing that residents should always be informed about is how is their property tax changing? And it is accurate to look back in time and see my property tax rate, or my property taxes have gone up over the last 10 years. And if you go back in time and look at, I think everybody should be able to access their property tax records online, or maybe you have them in your files. But you can see where your property taxes have gone up. And it's quite an interesting exercise to see how little some of the taxing entities have gone up and when they have gone up. For example, our rates have gone up, I think, maybe 3 times in the last 10 years. But generally and typically, the largest one that jumps is the school district as they go up. And they have a couple of reasons that they can go up somewhat freely, because we vote on their bonds, and they then have the ability to raise their rates to cover the debt service of that bond because we voted for it. They administer their bonds, I think, differently than we do, but they handle their debt through the debt service that they have, through the property tax rates that they have. But that's been the significant jump in all of our tax rates. Of course, Utah County had a property tax increase, I think, a year ago, and I'm not sure if they're going to have a decrease this year. They've been talking about doing a couple of things. But it's quite an interesting exercise to go look at how those property taxes have actually been apportioned out to the 5 or 6 taxing entities that tax on our home. Wonderfully, luckily, to the concern, maybe of the gravest part of that concern, as values go up, our rates do go down. When I started here, our rate was 0.002 something, and it's gotten down to 0.0009. And with some of our projects, it's bumped up a little bit, but I think we're back in the 11 or 10 range. I'd have to go pull up the 2021 rate. And so it does keep going down, and that does offset that. I don't know if were you aware of that, that truth in taxation? Okay, and that spares us from a lot of the meteoric rises that could happen if it was like sales tax. If you go to the store and you buy a gallon of milk today and it's $2, you pay sales tax on that. If tomorrow the price on that same gallon of milk was $3, sales tax would be exactly the same, so you'd pay, a penny more or whatever in sales tax. And so thankfully, property tax is a little bit different than that.
Speak a little bit fixed income of seniors, the options that are there available for them.
Yeah, thank you. And that's a great concern to express. There is a property tax abatement.
There's 13 in Utah. But one of the things that they did when they came through with that 1% on what you pay for the house, one thing that benefited the cities and counties after a number of years, like I mentioned, the fellow that bought my house, he probably is paying in the vicinity of $5,000 a year property tax, where I was paying $700-800. So that when a person sells the house, the new buyer pays X number of dollars, whether it's $200,000 or $400,000, whatever it is. That's what the property tax on that property now will be, because the new property tax. And any increase in property tax by the city cannot happen under that Proposition 13 without a 2/3 vote of the voters. That's why it'd be terrible if that came through, because if that comes through, the city councils, the counties, they no longer have control of what that rate's going to be, because the property might be $400,000 value, and you can lower the tax rate all you want. I'm still paying more than double my taxes. It doesn't matter what the rate is, it's still there.
Yeah.
I buy a gallon of milk, I've got the value of that gallon of milk. I'm not buying a house every time I go somewhere. So you can do a lot with figures. One thing you have to be careful of, don't forget the fact that the tax amount is still the tax amount.
Yeah. Thanks, Alvin. Appreciate that. That good reminder. Okay. Anyone else from the public that wants to? You bet.
This will be an easy one.
Okay, Mr. Tyrell, state your name for the record.
My name's John Terrell. And Terry, you can start your clock. I just want to say that how this year's been one of the best years I've ever had since I've been alive, and that is because I've really enjoyed myself. I've gotten to the point where I've gotten to know everybody, and there are only three things in my life that matter to me, and that is my family and my faith and my community. Politics doesn't play into that, and I would just like to thank the city for the way that they've taken charge of themselves and the opportunities that they've given me this year. And I know I'm an old fart, but I do know that for a fact that having ran for city council this year has been a great experience for me. And it's been a really great experience to get to know every one of you guys and all the candidates. I really had to play rock, paper, scissors when I voted this time. I wish there was a way that I could have voted for all 6 of the people that were on the ballot. Unfortunately, I'm not at liberty to tell you who I voted for and everything, but I do want to express my gratitude and my thanks to this wonderful council we have and all the things that they do to make the city run properly. And that's really all I have. And a special thanks to Tara, the way that she has ran the election this year. She really kept us informed, and you did a great job, kid. All right. Thank you.
Thanks, John.
Thanks, John.
She's a newbie, but she didn't seem like it, did she? Yeah. Thank you. Anybody else from the public? Okay, perfect. We'll go to council comments. We'll start with Councilman Marshall.
Thanks, Mayor Pro Tem. Not a lot to report. I have a board meeting, airport board meetings this week. The animal shelter board meeting is this week, so I'll get a report on those next time. Just want to thank the candidates for going through Spanish Fork University. It's pretty cool, and Nick, you did a great job. Only got to go to one night, but it was a great night, and so I thank you for that. I had the opportunity to attend the Utah Valley Growth Summit last week. Utah Valley's growing. I don't know if you've noticed that lately, but it's growing, and we're not alone in that. But there is some good people and good leadership positions that I think will benefit from that. So no one is putting their head in the sand. Everyone's facing growth head on and trying to do the best for their communities across the entire valley. So it was a good conference. Learned a lot from it. So that's all I had.
Attended it. I thought you spoke at it.
I did.
I have a picture when it's my turn. I'll share that.
Councilmember Beck.
Okay. Nick, let's start with mine. I think we're going to start with trick-or-treating since that was the most recent. Thank you for the Chamber of Commerce for promoting and supporting such a big event. I'm guessing 3,000-ish? Or what have you heard? Yeah, it was big. Miss Spanish Fork, politicians, we had the Youth City Council, just a lot of people. I walked up and down the street with my grandson, and there were just, it was crowded, right? You were both there? Any indication of how many?
I don't know, whatever 8 bags of candy will do.
Okay,
So
a lot of people.
It's a lot of
A lot
people.
of businesses, and not just Main Street businesses, but businesses throughout the community that could come down on Main Street, get their name out there and participate. So thank you to the Chamber and everyone who participated there. And then next, there's Shane at that summit that we were at. UVU and a lot of different organizations sponsored it. But we talked about like growth, transportation, education, affordable housing, water, a lot of things. And it just brought together city councils, education. You can see former Governor Herbert there, Senator McKell, Lana Hiskey with Nebo School District, and then Governor Cox. It was just to unite the county and kind of give us like a projection of where we're going, and that we can come together and grow together and be unified rather than kind of choppy. Like, let's have a vision. And so it was really helpful. So Shane did a great job.
It was cool how we talked about being unique, each city being unique, but still growing as a community,
Yeah.
as a Utah Valley community, and not necessarily individualizing.
Right.
It was good.
It was good. So, good job, Shane, for participating on that panel. And then the Youth City Council a couple weeks ago spent, I think, 5 or 6 hours at the library relabeling everything so they can, when things are checked out in the future, they can go through the new system. So thank you to the Youth City Council for participating and doing that. And again, I think I announced it last time, but if anyone is watching and has some time to volunteer, just contact the library. They have a lot of items to label and get ready for the new systems to check out. And just good luck tonight with election night. I wish all of those the best that ran, and just, it's, what's the word to describe it?
Terrifying.
Terrifying? It is. I'm so glad it's not me. So good luck. Well, an hour and a half and we'll see the first results. So congratulations and thanks for putting your name out there. And that's all I have.
Thank you, Stacy. Really quick, Spanish Fork University, it's already been said, but great job, participants, really cool. I'm excited to see that continue to grow. The Rotary Club had the candidates this last Tuesday. Thanks for coming and talking to the Rotary Club. The other news at the Rotary Club, we're losing Dr. Tracy Franson and Pat. If you look at like the Rotary Club roster, he's been the president, I don't know, just about every 5 years at the Rotary Club because he's just there. And he's a Rotarian for life. I remember him being that when I was a kid. And him and Pat have been called as missionaries for the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints to work down in the Mexico MTC. So he won't be able to be the Rotary president for at least 2 years while they're down there. But just a cool honor and in the service mind that he is, not just in Rotary, but in all aspects of Spanish Fork. He's just been a great giver of our community, and now he'll be giving to missionaries down there in Mexico. So best of luck to Tracy and Pat as they start their new adventure down there. Tara, I already said it, but she's going to talk about the election next, but awesome job. Not easy in the day of, elections get politicized now, and everything seems to be politicized, but running free and fair elections, super important, obviously, for the foundation of what we believe, but Tara just took it as a task and ran it very well. So great job, and I'm sure you're as happy as anybody that part's over. Before I hand it over to Heather at the Chamber of Commerce, just my maybe election minute is this is the first election that I've been involved in since lost a good friend that I served on the league board with a few years ago now. But as I try to think of how, and it's elected officials' responsibilities, I think, to remind everybody to vote and how important that is, regardless of what your politics are, but to vote because it's a right that's been protected by life and limb, right? Major Taylor, who was the mayor of North Ogden and served on the league board with me, stepped down as mayor, and now it's been 4 years ago, and served active duty in Afghanistan. 2 weeks before he was killed on a green on blue attack, where they're training soldiers from Afghanistan, and one was in there for obviously nefarious reasons. Took his life and left his wife and 7 kids home without a dad, and North Ogden without a mayor. 2 weeks before that, his last Facebook post said this. If you remember 4 years ago, it's pretty heightened political tensions in our country at the time, and he said, I hope everyone back home exercises their precious right to vote, and that whether the Republicans or the Democrats win, that we all remember we have far more as Americans that unites us than divides us. And his wife, the Gold Star family, his Gold Star wife, has echoed that today. She serves and carries a torch for him and their family, serving Gold Star families and serving the Utah National Guard in great ways of doing that, of reminding people how important liberty is, how important it is to voice your opinion, and that right that he was there fighting, for the country of Afghanistan to have and protect ours is something that he sacrificed his life for. So anyway, I don't think there will be a time when Election Day rolls around, whether it's a big presidential year or an off year like this, that I'll never not remember my friend and those wise words. So with that, I'll hand it over to Heather for the Chamber of Commerce minute. And yeah, I would echo that too. Great job getting the businesses out and organized and running a great trick or treat.
So I'm sad I missed it. That's probably one of my favorite things about the chamber. I love doing trick or treating, but I was not going to miss my daughter graduating from basic training. So
Yeah.
it definitely ranks over trick or treating, I hate to say. But so besides trick or treating, last month we wrapped up our business summit. The South County Business Summit. We had all of the chambers involved in South County, so from Springville all the way down to Santaquin. We kind of brought them together to do this summit, and it turned out really well. I was impressed. I know Stacy was there, Mike was there for a minute. And Desmond Lomax was our keynote speaker, and he was amazing. It was really great. So we hope that we can have some great success again with that next year. Our farmers market wrapped up on the same day as the trick-or-treating, so the 30th. We had a great season, even though we had to move because of the construction in the parking lot. We had a lot of great feedback that people loved the new spot. Probably their biggest complaint was no shade, but what are you gonna do? So, but it was really great. We actually, a few years ago, started taking SNAP benefits. Excuse me. So that's the old food stamps type of program. And just this last year, just in those 3 months that we ran the market, just in SNAP benefits, we did over $6,000. So that's really great support for not only the community to get some fresh fruits and vegetables, but local farmers as well. So we have scheduled on Thursday a business continuity and preparedness workshop. We've been working with Trevor Sperry. Unfortunately, we do have to cancel that. We're going to try and reschedule that for the next quarter. Our instructor came down with COVID, so we're going to move that. Our business of the month for November is Blaine Hone Excavating. We'll celebrate that next month down in, I'm assuming, Lakeshore at their house where their business is. So the 18th, we will have new networking luncheon. I'm not sure exactly what we have planned for that yet, but it will be held at the Ponderosa building and not at the High Chaparral. So, and then lastly, we have our Winter Lights Parade. We've actually made the decision this year to move that to Saturday. I know we've had a lot of people ask why, and some people said, I thought it already was on Saturday, so it just depends. It just depends on who you talk to. But we realize that we support two communities, Spanish Fork and Salem does their Pontown lighting on Friday night too, and it's always been in conflict. It's always at the same time. So we thought with not having the parade last year, this year would be a good time to move it so that we can have people who can attend both things. So all in all, the board was in favor of it. I think that with the way that Black Friday has kind of grown and more shopping, and obviously we want people to go shopping, especially if they shop local on Black Friday. But yeah, so we just felt like it was a good time for us to try and switch it to Saturday, and we think it'll be good for everybody. So that's all I have.
Great, thanks, Heather.
Thanks, Heather.
Thanks, Heather. Okay, that takes us to number 6, Spanish Fork 101, election results timeline. City Recorder Tara Silver.
All right, so for the elections, obviously it's election night. I think you still have an hour and, do we have a specific?
24 minutes.
24 minutes to get your ballot in. So I just want to give you some important dates and important things for tonight. If you'll go to the next slide, or I'll go to the next slide. This is where you're going to get results. This is where everybody wants to go tonight. That top circle is the website that you need to go to. It's at Utah County, and you can just type in elections and it should take you there. But around 8 p.m., they're going to release the first results. So you're going to hit that little circle there that says results, and it's going to take you to this page. And this is a little confusing, so I just wanted to make sure residents and candidates knew that we're not ranked choice election results. That is for other cities. We've decided not to do that. So you're going to go to the results map, or sorry, the results. It circled the wrong one. The results PDF. And it's going to take you to here where it's going to tell you all of Utah County numbers. Just make sure you look at the bottom. That's the date and the time they've updated. That will tell you if it's been updated since the last time you looked at it. And then you're going to look for Spanish Fork City Council or Spanish Fork Mayor race. And as you can see, this is the primary election. It's just an example. So you'll see the 4 candidates there. And they'll be listed, and you can see those votes that have come in by 8. Just so that you know, those aren't final results. Because we're mail-in ballot, those can come in for the next 2 weeks, and they'll be counting those. They do have to have the postmark of November 1st if you mailed it, or they have to be in the election box by 8 o'clock tonight, or you can go down to the fairgrounds in Spanish Fork City and vote in person by 8 o'clock tonight. So, as those trickle in, they'll give us updated results, and we'll put them on the Spanish Fork website, and you can look at the county site as well. So here is the results map. If you click right there, you'll be able to see this map that will tell you each of the candidates and which part of the city that they've got the most votes in. Sometimes that's helpful, sometimes it's not, but you can see the ballots cast at the top. Again, this is the primary election. And then how many voters we have, registered voters. And then you can see in the primary election we had 24%. As of yesterday, we had 21%. I don't know if we'll make up that gap, but I'm hoping we do. So, and then here's just all those election dates. Obviously today, you can still go to the election center. You just have to have a photo ID and then a proof of residency. If you don't have your ballot, if you have your ballot, you can go and just drop it off. And then, of course, those election results. You also can go to the Utah County Facebook page. They also will update that with information, if that's easier for people. And we won't have official numbers until City Council November 16th. That's when the canvass will end. That's where they try to, any ballot that maybe has a question or didn't have a signature or something, they will try to find that person and fix the ballot in that amount of time in between before the canvass ends. And then it allows all those ballots to come in as well. So, and then again, this is important, any 16 and 17-year-olds, you can register now to vote, and then you'll automatically get a ballot when you turn 18. So that's just kind of fun. And then here is the Utah County contact information. If you get to 7:55 and you have a problem, call this number or email them. Probably don't email if it's 7:55, but you can still get a hold of someone if you're having a problem with your ballot. Okay, thanks.
Thanks, Tara.
What's your funnest thing, Tara, that's happened this election? We won't ask for the worst, but what's
I think my funnest thing is I had a resident call and say, I voted and I sent in my ballot and I've decided that I want to change it because a candidate came to my house and talked to me personally, and I was so impressed that I now want to change my ballot. And unfortunately, we couldn't do that since they'd already sent it in. If they hadn't sent it in, they could cross it out and then circle the new. So she was sad, but she understood the process, but that was...
Interesting.
There you go. Kind of important to go to people's homes. Yeah.
Guess so.
Let me tell you mine, and there are 4 candidates in the room. This year more than ever, I've had people say, who's the Republican and who's the Democrat in a municipal election. And I've never had that many people say ask questions about partisan politics. And I've taken that opportunity to inform them that municipal elections are nonpartisan. And some people have actually gotten kind of combative about, well, now you're hiding something. Oh my gosh. When's the last time you voted in a municipal election? There has never been an R and a D. There's never been a primary that whittled down R's and D's and whatnot. And so it was kind of interesting. So you two and some of you in the room, is that something you guys came across? And which are you? And well, I know that so-and-so's of this party, so I'll vote for them. And like, well, do you know that what the parties are of all of them, or should you not? So that for me this year more than ever, the question of partisanship has come in, and I don't actually know the stand or the party affiliation of any of the candidates. I can probably guess, and my guess is they're all pretty similar. But that was an interesting one for a lot of us in our office. I saw Nick, you were nodding your head up and down too.
Yeah, a couple emails.
A lot of those, yeah. We were being evasive, but I mean that's one of the things I love about municipal elections is it's not partisan driven. It's individual driven. So.
Very good. Okay, on to number 7, consent items. Any questions about the consent items?
Where's Gordo when you need him?
Yeah.
I move to approve the consent items.
Second?
Motion by Councilman Marshall, seconded by Councilmember Beck for the consent items. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Okay, number 8, new business. Resolution 2124, adopting optional shared solar rate resolution.
Say that fast.
Yeah, I had to look at it again, make sure.
All right. Shared solar. All right. So what this is this is the way for people to participate in solar energy without having solar panels on the rooftop. So I don't know what percent of our city knows where we get our power from, but we get our power from Utah Municipal Power Agency. We are one of the member cities of that agency. I know Provo, Smashfork, Manti, Levan, Nephi, I think are the member cities. And Salem. I forgot Salem. So some of the residents may have noticed that solar panels were put up on the old dump behind Lowe's. We thought that was a good use of that land there. So UMPA purchased that property from the city, and they put up solar power. So this rate here is a way for residents to participate and get their energy from the solar panels located here in town. So this is the proposed rate. One thing to definitely note is that it is an optional service or an optional program, right? So it's if you want to participate. For those that do participate, they will buy solar blocks in 200 kilowatt hour increments. For me, I noticed in the winter I use maybe 600-700 kilowatt hours a month. In the summer, that's more like 1,300-1,400. So for me, I wouldn't want to buy only a few if that's something I wanted to do. You make sure you don't buy more than your lowest month in the winter. All right. So what they're going to pay is they're going to pay 10.62 cents per kilowatt hour to participate in that program. Normally what happens for those that don't participate is they're billed, for the first 500 kilowatt hours, they're billed this 6.639 cents per kilowatt hour. The next 500 kilowatt hours, they're billed around 8 cents, and then it goes up to 9.5 cents. So instead, if they use 800 and they have bought, one block of the first 200, we'd be at 10 cents, and then they would go back down to the 6 cents. You'll notice this 10 cents is higher rate than all of the other rates in the tier. So even high users that are penalized for using a lot would still pay less than they would participate in the shared solar program. So right now, this definitely costs a premium to participate. This is a possible rate in February. So if the highest rate went up to 11 cents, then there may be some savings by having shared solar at that point. Nick, do you want to go to our website and we can show people where to learn more about this program if they're interested? So if they simply go to smashfork.org/solar, that'll take them to our net metering page. And here they will learn about, there's a link to this Renew Choice, and they can also learn about if they want to do solar panels on their house. This is the same place to come. So this link will take them to Renew Choice. This is UMPA's website. And if they click here on this shared solar, UMPA has some other green energy programs going on, so you can learn about those here as well. But go ahead and click there, Nick. So you can learn more about the program here, and you can, I think there's a place to sign up if you're interested. If you keep going down, so you can sign up on this Keep Me Informed or sign up here, or you can contact our utility billing manager, Cindy Stone, with this phone number and email address. There's only going to be 3,000 of these blocks available, so it's the first 3,000 that decide to sign up will get them. And that's 3,000 not just in our city, but across all the member cities. I think I've covered everything. Any questions about the program and what?
Available residentially, not commercially.
Yes, that is one thing I forgot. Right now, it's just for residents, but we're hoping to get a rate that makes sense for commercial and as well.
Cool.
All right.
Thanks, Jordan.
Thanks.
Yep.
Appreciate it. Any questions to Jordan or anybody about this resolution?
No, I move to approve Resolution 21-24, adopting optional shared solar rates.
Second. Motion by Councilmember Beck, seconded by myself. All in favor. Is a roll call vote? Yes, roll call vote. Councilmember Marshall.
Aye.
Councilman Mendenhall, aye. Councilmember Beck.
Aye.
That passes. Okay, item B, we're continuing this. We need a proposal to continue this, or a motion? Okay. Sounds like the applicant is gonna come with some stuff later, some information later for us to look over.
That's our understanding.
Okay, perfect. Anybody want to make a motion to continue this?
Sure. I move that we continue agenda item new business B.
Second. Motion by Councilmember Marshall, seconded by Councilmember Mike, I guess Mendenhall.
You guess?
Oh, yeah. Weird calling yourself anything. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right. Item C, Airport Board appointments. These are appointments that have come, the recommendation of our Airport Board, as well as the mayor looking over these. So these are the mayor's appointments that we're approving tonight. These are appointments of Brad Meller until December 31st, 2023. Reappoint Claire Anderson and Brian Park until December 31st, 2022. Reappoint Matt Taylor until December 31st, 2023. Reappoint Mark Patey and Dwayne Barr until December 31st, 2024. Is there anybody that wanted to speak to that from staff, or is that pretty self-explanatory? Well,
There's, I believe, one new appointment, and then there were some, the reason for the majority of the changes is they were just not offset in their expiration dates. So we do this every once in a while as positions get replaced that don't follow the traditional time that would have been proposed. So we're just re-staggering the appointments of the rest, I think, to the airport board.
Correct. Brad is the new member, the rest are just reappointments that change the dates.
sorry, that's your
That's my board.
your thing.
Yeah.
Sorry, you could have
No, it's fine.
told us that and done that.
Seth did a great job.
Okay. We don't want to have an airport board and then one day they're all off.
They're all gone.
and then
Right.
it's a chain at the meeting.
We try to avoid that.
All
That
right,
would be best.
okay, perfect.
So I move to approve the board appointments as noted by Mayor Pro Tem.
Second.
Motion and a second made to approve these board appointments as stated, all in roll call votes. Council Member Beck,
Aye.
Councilman Mendenhall, aye. Councilman Marshall.
Aye.
That passes. Okay.
Don, you okay with that motion? Sure. Okay, just checking. I'll give you a heartburn over there.
No closed session tonight, okay? Who wants to take Brandon Gordon's usual role of motioning to adjourn?
I've done it once, I can't do two of them.
Well, it's just a motion to adjourn because it's not that lengthy thing.
Second.
Okay, there you go.
Motion to adjourn and second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Go and vote. Still time to vote.